Hi guys, this is a redirect to my reaction to episodes 411, 412, 413 and 414 of One Piece. Last two episodes were not so bad actually. Definitely. Definitely these four episodes were at least a little bit better than the last three episodes. Still so cringy, like oh my days. I got irritated a lot, but anyway, so for these episodes we saw Luffy like getting executed almost. Like he was basically, we see Luffy ending up in Hancock's bathtub because he really wants to get a ship, and the only way to get a ship is to ask someone who's very important in the island, because surely if they're important they will have their own ship. But he ended up accidentally in Hancock's bath. And she was furious because obviously like, men aren't allowed in the island, and if they are there then they will get executed. They will get turned to stone or die somehow. So like, and then Hancock said that Luffy actually saw what's on her back. Personally, I didn't see anything on her back, the animation wise, but he saw something on her back, which is basically the eyes on the back. The three sisters, the boar sisters, they all have eyes on their backs because they killed the Gorgon, but after killing the Gorgon, even though they received the powers of the Gorgon, they actually they received a curse as well, and the curse is that no one is allowed to see their back, otherwise they will get turned to stone if someone was to see their back. So the fact that he saw her back but he didn't die, I don't know why that is or anything. I don't think that was explained, but she was shook. She was shocked that he saw her back, but he didn't die or get turned to stone, and he was totally unaffected by her Mero no Mi devil fruit ability, which is to basically make people fall in love with her and then turn them into stone. She tried to do that to Luffy, but it didn't work. Well, I knew that it would not work because he's really not interested in women, not in that way. I mean, I wouldn't call him 100% asexual either. I think personally, if this is a weird thing actually with Luffy. Even though I would prefer Luffy to just end up alone with no kids at the end, I think it would be really cute if he ended up with Nami, but that's my own personal opinion. I think her role as a navigator is very crucial to Luffy's goal to become the Pirate King and to find the One Piece, because without the navigator then, you know, how are you supposed to find the One Piece? How are you supposed to become king? But anyway, I'm not going to talk about ships here. So we found out that Luffy, he also did haki during his fight against the Bow Sisters. Firstly, he took out a boar, but that was way too easy, so Hancock decided to get two other sisters to fight Luffy, and Luffy, like, he struggled so much. Initially struggled a lot, and because the Bow Sisters were just so durable. But then they tried to like break Margaret and the other two girls, I forgot what their names were. They actually stood up for Luffy, but just before the actual fight between him and the Bow Sisters. So Margaret, she actually wanted to save Luffy's life because Hancock was asking Luffy like, well, how did you end up on this island, and all men get executed if they come here. So Margaret was standing up to the Snake Princess, respectfully though, but she still was being an absolute bitch, and like she turned Margaret and the other two, her friends, into stone. And Luffy, he got horrified by that, and yeah, I guess more motivated to beat up the girls, the Boa sisters. And even before that, Boa Hancock, she seems to be... Everyone's gonna hate me for saying this, but at the moment though, I don't know how she's like later on. I think there's so much more to her, so I'm not gonna be entirely judgmental, but like, she seems so damn entitled. First of all, she was an animal abuser. She is an animal abuser for what she did in the last 3 episodes, and she's entitled, she's selfish, she I mean, you could argue either way, but at the moment, like, how she was treating the elder, I was just disgusted. Like, bro, like, she literally strangled her hair, like, pulled her hair, and then threw her out. Like, understandably, she did actually give a warning to her to just get out, but the elder was actually trying to tell her to not break her agreement with the world government, otherwise the island is in danger. Because the island will just get invaded if the world government didn't protect it. So the elder kind of had a point, even though I also understand why you would obviously be against the world government and stuff. I don't know why she's even a shishibukara. I guess she likes the power of it, like the status of it, but still, I'm just... Anyway, I find this whole thing cringy. It was an interesting fight between Luffy and the Boa sisters. So Luffy was trying his best to make sure that Margaret's statue and the other 2 statues of the girls would not break, because the Boa sisters, they were like almost throwing them to the ground. So that was not nice, but that actually activated Luffy's haki. He managed to actually knock out the entire crowd, the entire audience out, so that was quite shocking to see that he actually activated that. And it's actually a Haoshoku haki, which is apparently known as King's Disposition. Is like 1 in a million chance to get that haki. So Luffy is a very special person. They all got really shocked when they found out that he actually has that haki, and which is the same haki that Rayleigh and Shanks used. So it's really interesting that, you know, like, kind of runs in the family. Wow, like, God, and Hancock said that she also has that, and she's shocked that someone so ordinary has such an ability. So that's interesting. I really would like to learn more about haki in the future and the different types, assuming that there are different types. So yeah, and Luffy managed to finally be able to defeat the Boa sisters. That was a pretty good fight. Cringy arc, cringy island, but at least that was a pretty good fight. And at the end, Hancock was crying because at the end, Luffy showed mercy towards Sandersonia, I think her name was, because she almost got thrown to the spikes at the bottom, and her back was exposed. So Luffy, having heard what the sister said before, he had the initiative and the mercy in him to actually hide that exposed mark on her back, so that not everyone would turn into stone. Because if everyone were to see the marks on the Boa sisters' backs, then they will get turned into stone and die. So yeah, like, it's weird because they were like proper like trying to kill him, and he shows mercy at the very end, and then Hancock starts crying at the very end, and then we see like a tiny glimpse of her, I think was supposed to be a backstory, which looks like a tragic one, which probably explains why she hates men so much. But I'm all for gender equality, so I'm a bit iffy, like, can a backstory really justify this? I don't know what backstory is, so I'm not gonna hold any judgment there. What did you think of these episodes? I'm gonna disable the comment section, so if you really do want to talk to me, do talk to me on my Facebook. So stay tuned for more.